Hi everyone, it's Dominic from the msguy.com, and today we've got something rather different for you and hopefully quite special. I brought together three people that I know from around the world, and we're going to talk about bladder and bowel problems in MS, and that's going to start right now. Hi everyone, hi guys. I'm going to go around and get you to introduce yourselves to the crowds. So from my screen, Rebecca, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure thing. My name is Rebecca Scott, as you can probably see right here. I live in Washington, D.C. I have secondary progressive MS, and I was diagnosed 17 years ago.
Cool. Marieke?
I'm Marieke. I'm from the Netherlands. I'm 39 years old. I have relapsing remitting MS, and I was diagnosed in 2018, and I'm on Mavenclad.
Okay, TJ.
Hi guys, TJ here in Ireland, diagnosed with remitting relapsing MS about 15 months ago at this stage.
Excellent. Guys, I really appreciate all of you coming together to help me talk about this. This was really triggered by an interview I did with Rebecca initially, and some of the comments that she made got incredibly good responses from other people. So I thought this is something that we need to do a bit more of. It's about bladder and bowel problems in MS, and nobody likes to talk about them because, frankly, it's pee and it's poo, and this is the sort of stuff we thought we'd left behind when we were little kids. But with MS, it comes back and knocks on your door. Rebecca, you're the best at this. Can you kick us off and just talk us through roughly some of the issues that you have encountered when you did, how you've dealt with them? And we'll just go around like this, and anybody chip in if you want.
Sure. Well, I'd love to talk with bladder-ish about. I'd love to start with bladder issues because I feel like that is often one of the first things that pops up for people. And for me, it never occurred to me that the reason why I was peeing all the damn time was because of MS. I just thought, oh, I have like a low-grade UTI, no big deal, won't worry about it. And then several months after my diagnosis, I went in for a follow-up and I said to my neurologist, hey, I'm peeing a lot. And he's like, oh, that's an MS thing. Let's put you on Detrol, which was the drug that was available then. And from then on, I tried a series of drugs, none of which did much good until I got to what in the US is known as the brand name Myrbetriq. Really great drug, also really expensive in the US, or really great for me. You know, with all of these drugs, you've just got to see what works for you. Once all of that was done, my doctor was like, you know what, let's do a test. So I had 48 hours where I got to carry around a little thing, a little toilet insert, where I got to measure how much I peed before. Actually, I just got to measure how much I peed. And I also got to measure all of the liquid I put in for multiple days, which, let me say, you got to get a big old purse if you're going to do this nonsense. And it's also like you have to like rinse it out in the sink at work and like go to the bathroom at work that nobody else goes to. But at the end of it, they were like, you were peeing way too much. This is wrong. So I started getting bladder Botox, and that has really changed my life. I also self-catheterize, which was scary at first, but has really changed my life. So that is like the quick summary of bladder treatment for me. And if you want to circle back to war stories, then we can do that too.
Yeah. Rebecca, I have a question because self-catheterization, it sounds very scary to a lot of us. I'm happy I don't have to do that. But can you tell me more about that process and how that started and what it's like? to do that
Yeah.
for the first time?
Yeah. So what it's like to do it in the first time, or for the first time for me, is that I was up on what they call the throne at the urologist office, which is a raised chair that doesn't have a section in the middle. It essentially has a hole in the middle so they can get at your bits. And a nurse presented me with a catheter, and I will run off briefly. So this is a female catheter. You can tell it's a female because of the boobs. No, I'm kidding. You can tell it's a female catheter because it's shorter than a male catheter. Male catheters would have me start at way out, because like all things male, they assume they need something longer than usual. But what you do is you take this little thing and you unwrap it. Really great for people with manual dexterity issues. And you coat one end in lubricant, and then you spread your lips, I guess is the polite way of putting it, and do your best to find your urethra, which can be really challenging. That little bugger can be elusive, but and you stick it in, and after, God, a decade, I don't even think about it most of the time, but for the first week, every time I went to the bathroom, I was in tears because it was so hard and because I couldn't believe that this was what my life was moving forward. But then I could sit through a whole movie. Like, I couldn't imagine the last time I sat through a whole movie before.
Wow.
A friend of mine who's been on the channel, Mark Webb, he is catheterized, and he blithely said the other day, "Oh, then I drank 2 liters of water." And I thought, "Oh my God." And he said, "Oh, straight in, straight out. I don't have to do anything about it." And I thought, fine. But it's TJ and I, being the blokes in this, what I noticed so far, like, you're the only one that has to catheterize out of us lot, but it can be quite inconvenient. Should we say follow through? You think you're done, you tuck yourself all back in your trousers and zip up, and then something in your body goes, "I've just found a little bit more for you." And it kind of runs out, and you're thinking, that's not a good wet patch. And the only way I cope with it, 'cause it happens slightly occasionally, is I then stand at the sink in the loo and I splash water all over myself and come out. And if anyone looks at me, I said, I kind of screwed up and put the tap on a bit hard. And, so it's sort of camouflaging it, but you're thinking that's really not good. TJ, I've had MS 28 years. You're at the other end. Have you had any issues to date?
Yeah, I suppose it kind of blindsided me a little because my original symptoms are all kind of, I suppose, lower limbs and fatigue. And I was told I had no new activity, so I presumed those are my symptoms. And then in February, I noticed one day I must have went to the toilet like a dozen times between maybe when I got into work and 7 o'clock that evening, and kept happening, and just couldn't seem to retain any liquid. But sometimes you'd be standing there at the urinal and kind of like, why aren't you working, you know?
What you mean, refusal to perform?
Yeah, and I just felt why, you know? Spoke with my MS nurse about it, and she explained your bladder is like a jug, and it'll shrink and grow depending on how frequently you urinate. And because I felt the urge to go so often, and I was relieving myself so often, my bladder had actually shrunk. So she said, retrain your bladder. Try not to go to the toilet. And I was kind of looking at her as like, you can see me here bent over a little bit because I'm not going to like go now. But yeah, so I tried that, went back to her and spoke with the neurologist, and they put me on Betmiga, which helps with urgency and frequency. Works sometimes, other times I still feel like my body tricks me, you know, but it's certainly helped. It's maybe reduced the times I go to the toilet by half. So it's definitely helped. But as I said, I'm a little bit anxious about what the future holds, and very interested to hear what Rebecca has to say, even though it's the opposite sex, and maybe slightly different issues. But yeah, it's I suppose it's never far from my mind, you know, and I suppose the things you do to avoid soiling yourself can be quite extreme. You know, going the long way home so you can stop in a public toilet or pop into your parents or whatever. You know,
Public toilet. You
I
gotta
mean,
remember, man, I'm in America. We don't have those. You just gotta hope Starbucks will let you in.
well, Rebecca, Marieke told a story that really speaks to what you did. I mean, I was laughing, and not in an unkind way, but maybe you could share it when you discovered it. It was pretty awkward, wasn't it?
Yeah, yes, I think so. Yeah, and you have to laugh to keep from crying with these things. No, I had the same issues as TJ has. I was going to the bathroom all the time, had to pee all the time. And at a certain point, I was getting UTIs, and I thought, okay, now I have to really, ring my MS nurse to tell him about this, because he had already warned me that this might show up. And he said, okay, you need to go to a urologist. And he scheduled an appointment for me, and they sent me a letter that they had to test my bladder and my volume and my stream and everything. And before coming in for the tests, I need to drink at least half a liter of water, and not go to the toilet 2 hours prior to the test. And I thought that's a challenge, but we'll try, because I'm a good girl and I want to do the good thing, So and the hospital where I had to go to was a 1 hour drive. And when I was about to leave the house, I thought, okay, I think I could pee right now, but I can't, because I don't want to mess up the test. So okay, I think I'll manage. And I left for the hospital, and of course my bladder was filling up, and it was horrible. It was so painful to have it to have my bladder also so full. But I couldn't stop, because I was on the highway and I was late for for the appointment. I thought, okay, I'm as long as I sit still, as I sit in my car, I'll manage. And I went into the hospital, and I was stumbling in because I was in so much pain. And I get to the urologist's desk, and she says, okay, well, you can go to the waiting room now, and we'll see you later. Or maybe if you have to pee right now, you can already go. And yes, I can pee right now. Can I please please go and have pee? So I went into the room with a special toilet bowl, and it was all very clinical and scary, but I didn't even mind. I just wanted to really.
Yeah.
And then when I got to the appointment, the urologist said, "You have a very good bladder. I don't know what you're here for, because you peed like 2 pints in the testing. You had a very strong stream." And I said, "This is not representative for my situation, because actually it turns out my bladder doesn't have so much trouble keeping urine in, and more letting it go. Like TJ said, I can just sit on the toilet and wait for sometimes a minute or two, and just go already. It's just, and to release it just takes some time. And there's even been a few times where I'd sat on the toilet for 5 minutes and said, okay, it's not going to happen now.
and just get up, pull up my pants, and just leave and try again 10 minutes later or something. It's really strange. But I'm not on any medications. She the urologist sent me through to a pelvic floor therapist, and she said that we will first try some exercises, and that's really helped.
Oh, that's good.
So I'm good now.
I have a friend who's a neurophysio, and she was saying, because I didn't know about this when we were going to talk about this, there's physios that specialize in bladder and bowel things and exercises. And like Rebecca said, Botox. I mean, I don't know, when you say Botox to me, I think about the women that I always see sort of the society balls, and they've got these foreheads that make no expression whatsoever. But that's what Botox does, is, it helps your bladder not be, like TJ said, it shrinks and stuff, and it sort of just freezes it, frankly, in something, so it doesn't misbehave as badly. It's and as a bloke, I always remember young, you're standing in the urinals, at some, I don't know, public event or whatever, and there's always some old man standing there, and you can just tell that this is quite a big production and effort for him. And as a kid, you kind of whiz in, do your business, and whiz out, and this poor old fella is just standing there, and you're just, all of a sudden, it's like, this is me. And not just because I'm getting older, but even when you're younger. Let's move on to the really unpleasant side. Sorry, Rebecca.
I would love to jump in for a second and just talk about briefly the experience of getting physical therapy for this, because I have gone through physical therapy for bladder issues too, and initially it really helped me. But that is an awkward endeavor, is it not?
In what way?
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, because you have another human, probably a woman, all up in your business, like asking you to squeeze and asking you to release, and then assessing how well you're squeezing and releasing. And it's just, you think, my God, is this, I mean, as we do every time something new comes along, like, my God, is this what my life has become? But in early days, as Marieke said, it really can make a huge difference. And really, I try to remember to do some of those exercises now. But it's hard to make yourself do them, just like any kind of exercise.
Yeah, I agree. I don't do the exercises anymore as well, because I feel that it's just going a lot better right now. And I remember the most important things she said, to be aware of how much your pelvic muscle is tensed during the day. When you're not, you don't really know sometimes how cramping that muscle can be. And then when you sit down and just, take your attention there and think, oh, I think, I could pee right now, and then just go before you. And also,
sorry, Marieke.
Yeah.
I think the thing that really gets you is it becomes a normal part of your life, because you get used to this stuff, like it or not. But all of a sudden, and TJ said something to me earlier today, people make comments that I don't think they're trying to be mean or horrible or something. It was the rollerblade comment, TJ, but it's just, having to, we all look normal, if you will. Yeah, there's nothing obvious when you look at any of us. I'd say you're pretty possible, Rebecca, but it's you're the only person that can produce a catheter on demand. But it's what I'm saying is people don't understand it, and I think that can make it harder for you sometimes. See, I mean, even me, I'm pretty robust, but I try to make sure it doesn't happen that frequently. But if an accident happens, like it did the other day, that you just sort of cover yourself in water, which in some ways is absurd, but it's just a mechanism to avoid having to explain this to other people. Because
I'd be of the opposite persuasion, Dan. I'm kind of on a big education drive here at work, because I suppose different issues for me, like the mobility now today, as we discussed this morning, or see with going to the toilet, rather than people, maybe kind of whispering or whatever. I've no problem telling, so that it's and I tell them this is why, or these are the issues I face, and that's where that conversation this morning came from, that we spoke about, with the rollerblades and that. But like, it's just for me a big part of, and I'm only kind of 15 or 16 months into this, but it's about educating people and giving people understanding, so that you don't feel like in a month's time, geez, those people are whispering about me, or you're looking over your shoulder. They know why. And they're, it's, for me, it's a much easier way to be, rather than being closed-natured about it. It's and I share most things with the world. I've no problem, as you all know. So
I completely agree.
I'm on the opposite persuasion.
I completely agree. But some people, I think, I think we're all of the type where it's like, hey, mate, this is it, get over it. But that approach doesn't come as easily to some people. And the whole, depending on how you're raised and all that kind of stuff, it can be really, if somebody sort of, should we say, caught me, for want of a better word. Yeah. I mean, I have one bowel issue once in my life, which I'm pretty sure is down to dodgy prawn curry on an airplane. But who knows if it was MS or not? I mean, that's the delights of MS. You don't know if it was EMS. But, I got off, I ate 2 portions of curry on a flight back from the Philippines, and I got off in the UK to work that morning, and then went into the client office and promptly, I don't know how to put this politely, shat myself spectacularly, and you're just thinking, this is awkward. I'm standing here in my suit. I've got to lecture. And I kind of walked like John Wayne up to my colleague and went, you'll have to do this. And he said, why? And I went, and he went, oh God, what's that smell? I said, that's why I've got to go. And, but I mean, it's just the awkwardness, your life in seconds has just been turned upside down, because you've done something which socially is entirely out of most people's realm. I mean, I think, TJ, if I could play it again, I didn't know what it was, but educating people, I think, is the right thing.
Yeah, that was a poor decision, not MS, I think.
I think it was a poor decision.
Concur.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. Is 2 portions of prawn curry on the airplane probably wasn't the best, but I completely get it. It was without warning. There was no heads up that this was going to happen. I was walking along into the client's offices, and bang. And you do think, Jesus, how am I going to hold my head up again? How am I going to get over this? Because it was quite obvious what had happened. There was no, I pity the poor people that had to clean up as I sort of frog marched out of there, but it was not a good thing. And you're sitting at home thinking, I'm going to tell my boss, I'm going to have to fess up to this. I don't, the awkwardness of it. I mean, has anybody else, how else do you deal with the awkwardness, Rebecca?
Well, so a double-edged sword of MS is the fact that constipation can often come with the package, and the good God, yeah, sure, I'll go there. The quality of the poo that often comes with constipation is such that it is not a spectacular blowout. It is more of a, oh God, okay, this has happened. But if I move quickly to a toilet and carefully dispose of these underpants and hope no one notices what's going on for the next however longer I have to stay in whatever place I'm in with other people, then you can get through it. And there was a period of time, I've been working from home for even longer than COVID, so this hasn't been an issue for me lately, although I did shit myself just 2 days ago walking down my hallway at home. But you know what? It's home. You just kind of say, honey, can I have a fresh pair of underpants in a plastic bag? And, get on with it.
Shit happens.
Shit indeed happens much more frequently than I would like.
I said it might piss you off too, so long as you're trying comes out.
All of it. Layers upon layers upon layers.
Guys, we've got a few minutes left. How about, give your 3 top tips?
I'd say talk to your doctors, talk to your specialists. They know that this is frequent, and they can help.
Okay.
So you don't have to struggle with this alone.
Yeah. TJ?
If you're on medication, take it religiously. Same time every day. I was a bit patchy for a while. My wife bought me some blister packs. I feel like I'm about 60 or 70. But take your medication religiously on time every day. Will be my big one. And the second thing, be open about it, whether that's in a social setting or whether it's in work. And you'll be surprised, people will kind of row in behind you and offer support. They'd be my top 2 tips. Be open and honest, and religiously take your medication.
All right, Rebecca.
I think I said this in the last video, and I will say it always. Cry when you need to. This stuff, whether it's shit or piss or whatever, it makes you feel like a child, and sometimes you have to act like a child and just bawl your eyes out about it. So do that, and then figure out what coping mechanisms, in addition to the doctors and the medications and, God forbid, the catheters, if you have to go there, although they're really not that bad, I promise. Yeah, so none of it. You may wish for death's sweet release when your pants are filled with shit, but you know what? You're going to live through it, and you're going to figure out ways of coping.
Yeah, I'd add to that and say most people do not want you to fail. And most people, like everybody's talk to people, tell them what's happened, because many adults have got children. I've certainly changed more than my fair share of nappies, and etc. It's one of these things. I think they just don't get that it can also be with adults. Well, certainly adults our age. It's sort of seen as a beginning of life and an end of life thing, but actually it can be a during your life thing. So it's talk to your medics. They are not surprised. They will not clap their hand to their head. They will not fall about in horror. Any decent MS nurse will go, right, let's sort this out, because a decent doctor, stroke nurse, etc., wants to help make MS the smallest part of your life. And if they're not, you can change, or tell them. But it's just, I think it's not the end of the world, is it? As a friend said, if no one died and the police weren't involved, it's probably not that bad. So that's kind of the metric that I apply to most things, is this too will pass. And guys, I'd just like to say thank you so much for giving up your time to come on the MS Guide and talk about this, because it's not a first choice topic for anybody, but you guys have been really good humored about it. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks for inviting us.
Pleasure as usual. See you, Rebecca. Bye, Marieke.
Bye-bye.
Great to see y'all.
You.
Bye, guys. Thanks so much. Cheerio, guys. Bye-bye.